All right, let's check. Make sure we are up on YouTube.
That's excellent.
We're
condition.
looking. We're looking.
That's excellent condition, Daddy.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Looks like we're good on YouTube.
We're good on YouTube.
Word. All right.
We're recording.
Looks like it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome into another edition of The Cut. We are live. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. So before we get into it, go ahead and like, share, and comment on the video. And then go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get more content from us as we develop more. I'm Tom Roth.
I'm Anthony Oquendo, and y'all been on my ass today, and I am here to talk about it.
Yo, dude, they were on your ass,
Yo,
dog.
That's all right.
Ass.
That's all right. Some of them can't see what's plainly viewable and visible on video, but I don't know. We'll talk about it, Tom. We'll talk about it. What do you have on the agenda today? What do you want to talk about? So we're going to talk about some Dems, it looks like, but what do you have in mind?
So I am a Democrat. I am a moderate Democrat, which means I lean more toward the right while still adhering to some principles of the Democratic Party. Now, there have been some things that have come out the last couple of weeks in regard to Donald Trump being shot at, going to even so far as Joe Biden deciding to drop out and not seeking re-election for this upcoming election, and endorsing and looking like all signs are pointing to Kamala Harris for being the representative of the Democratic Party in this upcoming cycle. So there's a lot of people that had a lot of things to say about that. One of my guys that I've liked for a long time, Ron DeSantis, had some stuff to say. Let's go and see what Ron DeSantis had to say about the Democrats, essentially.
Okay, now break this down for me because I have not watched this. So just kind of give me an idea of what I'm about to look at here. So if we just look at the
so every party has hypocrisy in it, right?
Right.
Every party, no matter what position that you take, every party has some bit of hypocrisy to them. The Republican Party is guilty of it. The Democratic Party is guilty of it. You know, libertarians, the Green Party, whomever. Ron DeSantis in this video uncovers some of the hypocrisy that's going on with the Democratic Party, and he makes some good points regarding Democrats in general. So I think that this is a good way to start off our podcast. It's a 15-second little clip here, and we're going to see what we're working with.
Okay, let's check it out.
That you show proof of a COVID vaccine to go to a restaurant, but they oppose requiring proof of citizenship to cast a vote. They mandated
that's basically it right there.
Okay.
So he makes some very valid points here. We a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, you posted something about who's voting by mail, that kind of thing, which I thought was really funny.
We're just being funny, but yeah, go ahead.
We are in election season, and this is a very sensitive time and a very sensitive topic because if you think about it critically, Kamala Harris, should she be the choice? Let's say she wins, right? Let's just say she wins. I don't think she stands
wins the presidency
wins the presidency.
Okay.
I don't personally think she stands a snowball's chance in hell. But a lot of people are going to say that fraud happened because Kamala wins, right?
Maybe. I don't know, to be honest with you.
You don't think that that's a viable thing for people to say if Kamala Harris wins?
I think a lot of people will question the integrity of the election. Yeah,
why would people question the integrity of the election?
I don't know. I mean, because everybody wants a reason why they lost, really.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if we look at this critically, let's just think about it. It's true. Everything Ron DeSantis said is true. And if Ron DeSantis runs in 2028, I'm voting for him. They want you to get a COVID vaccine. They mandate a COVID vaccine, but they don't require proof of citizenship to vote. Doesn't that seem a little sus to you?
Marcus says he loves your mustache.
I love you, Marcus.
We both love you, Marcus.
I love you.
Yeah, so say that again. So they require proof of vaccination, but they don't require proof of citizenship to vote.
Correct. Don't you see a
Where?
hypocrisy
Wait,
there?
can you... I'm going to play devil's advocate. Where don't they require identification to vote or proof of citizenship?
How do they require proof of citizenship when they do mail-in?
That's a good question. I believe the way it's supposed to happen is they're supposed to match signatures.
You can't match a fucking signature, dude.
Hey, speaking of which...
You can't match a signature. I don't care what anyone says.
And even if it... All right, so let me look this up real fast.
So just as while you're looking this up, when I was buying my second house, right? The guy told me you have to make your signatures look almost identical or else they won't take it. And I said, sir, that's a virtual impossibility. And he looked at me and he said, I know. You know what I mean? Like, even when I'm buying a house, a dude tells me it's bullshit. Like matching signatures is almost impossible. Like, that's the most half-assed shit I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, and the reason I even bring that up. All right, so look at this. So this is from Joe Biden's not resignation letter, but his letter where he explains where he's dropping out of the race for presidency. So these are signatures of Joe Biden's in the past, right? So these are known signatures of Joe Biden. Look at all these signatures. Now look at this signature. If you ask me, they don't really look too much alike.
Yes, they do.
You think so?
It's not so much about the smaller letters. It's about the larger letters. The B is what I look at every time. The B is what I'm always going to look at.
Okay.
That is a hard motion to replicate.
Okay, but let's look at the replication here, okay? So if we look at the B and then it drags across to the next letter, B drags across, B drags across, B drags across. All of these are consistent where it's B drags across. This B ends, and then the rest of the name begins.
Yes.
Also, this is underlined.
Yes. He never underlined before. So when I said yes, it does look similar. It's because I look at the B.
Also, look at the end of his name in each one of these. It looks to be like an N, like in his last name. What is this up here?
That's a fucking S.
That looks like an S to me.
Joe
right?
beat us.
Okay, so I didn't want to get off topic too much, but I just wanted to show you that either one, signatures can be way inconsistent, where then that would question the integrity of the mail-in ballot process, or that's not Joe Biden signing that. But I'm just saying.
I mean, it's a very real possibility. I mean, I heard some shit that Joe Biden's dead.
I heard some crazy shit like that too.
Not that I would wish that on him.
But apparently, I think as we speak right now, it could be. I think he is actually giving a speech. Well, we might want to actually tune into that.
I love how it says President Biden, the decision.
The decision.
Like LeBron back in 2010.
Yeah.
The decision.
So I'll pop this up and I'll just keep
it up
as we go through. But yeah, so back to your point with the mail-in ballots, how do they verify it? From my understanding, bro, they just match signatures up, which I think that was, a part of the issue back in 2020.
Okay.
That people weren't matching up signatures.
But I think DeSantis said some really thought-provoking shit right there, though. You know what I mean? Like, they make you have a COVID vaccine or proof of a COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now, just personally, I don't have a COVID vaccine. I never got immunized. I never saw the need.
Yeah, but me, I mean, I see what DeSantis is saying, but I hate analogies because nothing is ever truly equal. So that analogy to me is just sounds good. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand, but I think he makes a good point. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of hypocrisy is this? Like, we're more worried about COVID vaccines than we are illegals voting for president?
In 2024, no. But back in, 2021, yes. Right?
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I was under the impression that mail-in ballots were for people who could not get to the polls, like legitimately had an excuse of why they couldn't make it to the polls, whether they were, disabled, right? I think also you can mail it in like an absentee ballot if you're out of the country. I think there are several reasons why you would be able to mail in your ballot, but I didn't think it was just like for.
Let me ask you another question. We're in 2024.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of crazy shit that we have access to on our phones, on our computers, everything like that. Why is mail-in ballots still a thing? Why can't you download an app and you do face recognition? Face recognition's on every fucking phone. There's webcams on every fucking computer these days. How come you can't just do a face recognition or face mapping technology, what have you, and you cast your vote on your computer, hit enter, and that's that. And that eliminates any shred of a doubt that it was you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Maybe infrastructure's not there.
I think that's bullshit. Infrastructure's there for everything, dude.
But it's really not, though. Because if you think about it, all right, so I guess it depends on which approach you're really taking. If you're going like a Face ID approach, yeah, I don't think that's feasible. For one, not everybody has an iPhone, right? And for two, a lot of people have shitty smartphones. Like I see this daily. Their smartphones, I wouldn't trust their smartphones in an emergency. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't trust it to be able to call 911 if I was bleeding out.
That's fine.
Some of them are horrible.
Janky.
Very janky. Like you have to wait. You push a button and you wait several seconds for that action to load. Yeah. Like terrible. So I don't think the infrastructure is there for that to happen. Also, I think there will be a lot of pushback as far as like people privacy, face recognition. Then we're talking, Chinese technology where they have Face ID for everybody. And that would kind of bring it up to the point where, who's to say they're not going to use that same technology to identify people out and about on the streets?
I think they already do.
It's very possible that they do.
I mean, we talked about it a couple months ago. The birds are just drones, dude. Like they're just taking videos of us like crazy anyway, so what's it matter,
Yeah.
But then we talk a little bit more about what's been going on with Donald Trump, right? And you had sent me a link, I think yesterday. Hold up. About Miss Kimberly Cheadle, right? So
from the Secret Service.
Secret Service
Director. Real quick before we move on to that, I do want to say, Marcus, I know he dealing with mail. He'd
be the dude.
Yeah, I mean, he probably know more about this. And I mean, filling out information in order to obtain a ballot, because that could probably be manipulated. I'm guessing you're referring to, just like anything else. I'm guessing you're referring to the Face ID and yeah, I mean, that's just like anything else. I'm sure all that can be manipulated.
Anything can be manipulated.
All right. So, Director Cheadle, or former Director Cheadle at this point now.
Hold up. Before we move on,
okay,
I apologize. I did have something about the Democratic Party's coronation of Kamala Harris as their nominee being fundamentally anti-democratic.
Okay.
And that's right there. And Mr. Ted Cruz posted this, the Zodiac Killer, allegedly. We're going to take a look at this.
So this is Ted Cruz. He says the Democratic Party's coronation.
Ted Cruz.
Well, no, this is Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz is posting it.
Yeah, Ted Cruz posted. He said the Democratic Party's coronation of Kamala Harris and their nominee is fundamentally anti-democratic. This might be the most corrupt presidential campaign in history, with the entire agenda being made behind closed doors. All right, so this is let's see who this is. I don't even know. Oh, he looks familiar. Why can't I get his name? All right, let's listen to what he says. Biden is out.
Is it fair to say that this might be the most corrupt picking of a presidential candidate in modern political history because of the time that people have to build their power and to basically, in essence, sell their vote?
Perhaps. Now to be fair, it hasn't happened yet, but it's all going to be behind closed doors. It's not going to be the voters. It's not going to be in public. It's one thing if you campaign. Look, at some level, you could say all campaigns are in a way about buying votes. If you campaign and say, I'm for Medicare for all, for socialized medicine.
Sure.
You're saying the Democrats are big on being the Santa Claus party. We'll give you free stuff if you vote for us. That's one thing.
On a different level.
It's a totally different if you make a public promise in the press that I will support a law that has broad effect. You know, Joe Biden, I'm going to give away $1 trillion to people who have student loans.
Yeah, vote for me. I'm buying your vote.
That is very different from, you know, Ben, you control a pocket of votes. You ever thought of being Secretary of the Navy?
Yeah.
You like boats.
Yeah. Or I hear there's a great house in this country and the ambassadorship there is really fun.
I mean, we're going to see that happening every day. Now, mind you, you're going to get competing people making those promises.
Yeah.
And in terms of the vice president, that's going to be part of the negotiation is who Kamala teams up with to try to lock down the power brokers in the Democrat Party. And one question is, does she try to quickly buy off whoever she thinks her most formidable adversary is? Possibly. Does she try to get all of the potential adversaries to compete wooing for her affection? More likely. But it's going to take an entire month playing out for us to see.
Okay, maybe I
brought this up because he brings up some really good points. Especially, everyone's up in arms about Kamala Harris, but no one is talking about who her vice presidential nominee is going to be. And I think that's a very important thing to bring up.
I've heard people make speculations.
I've heard Hillary. I've heard Michelle Obama. Those are the big names I've heard. Do I think that it's political?
I think you called it last week.
What?
Who her running mate would be?
Who?
Shapiro.
Oh, I did call that last week, didn't I? Yes, I did. Did she say Shapiro?
No, but I think he's a name that's been tossed
floated
out there
around.
Quite a bit.
I think she'd be committing political suicide if she picked Hillary.
I agree.
I think she'd be committing political suicide if she got Michelle.
I don't honestly think she has much of a political career left.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if she does or if she doesn't. To be honest with you, is the fact that this is the state of the Democratic Party right now. The state of the and listen, for everything that the Democratic Party is doing, there are good people in the Democratic Party. There are people that are trying to do the right thing.
Make sure you're speaking to the mic.
There are people that are trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Just like in any party, you know, just because the face of it's bad doesn't mean the people behind that face are bad, right? I truly believe that no one goes into politics wanting to destroy a nation. It's an inadvertent consequence of the actions that the people take that accumulate over time and make like a snowball effect, like that Dave Ramsey like debt thing where you snowball it. You know what I mean? I think that that's where the adverse effects come from. Like, I don't think Joe Biden set out to cripple our economy and fuck us all with inflation by paying off student loan debts and doing this, that, and the other thing. I think he was truly trying to help people, and in his mind, he was doing it, but he didn't foresee these effects because he didn't have the right political, financial, you know, all these people, these analysts in place to
I disagree.
Do the right thing.
I disagree.
You think Joe Biden was really trying to fuck the country over?
I think he was trying to pull a fast one, and he knew it was going to be challenged. I mean, these people who make these decisions, they're not stupid. The decisions they make are forethought, and the obstacles that they face, they're aware they're going to face them before they even propose them. They have teams of people that basically play these out, that play these scenarios out, and they pick the best option. So let's say they know that there's going to be a hurdle, right? They're aware of that hurdle and they plan for it. Just like I forgot what company it was that they. Oh man, I wish I remember what company it was. It was a pharmaceutical company, basically, that was sued for the whole Oxycontin, or like basically people being addicted to them and them still feeding them.
Oh,
right?
Wasn't that wasn't Pfizer, was it?
Maybe it was Pfizer. I don't remember. But either way, they planned in their budget when selling these pills that they were going to be sued. They calculated that into their budget, basically into their strategy and their plan for marketing and selling these. They knew they were going to have lawsuits. They anticipated that. They put money aside for it.
Sure.
So people who make these decisions have this stuff planned out so far in advance. They know exactly what the hurdles are going to be. They know exactly what the legal hurdles are going to be. They still push it until the point where mommy and daddy says that's enough. That's how they do it. And then when mommy and daddy say that's enough, they try to find a back door to go around and do the same thing. That's all it is. It's politics, man. I wish people really paid attention to politics like consistently, because they could see all this foolery and fuckery that happens with behind closed doors, and how people just try to subvert processes until they're caught, and then they have to go back and do things the right way, but then they find another back door. It's a circle. It's a cycle, man.
Wow. You just mind fucked me.
They knew it. They know all this stuff. So when he knew when he pushed the stuff for the student loans, it was going to be, either appealed or struck down by a judge or something along those lines.
Correct. But what my point was is I don't think he was intentionally trying to hurt people.
I think he was trying to cater to a population or demographic that he felt that if he did cater to them, he could earn their vote. I think he was buying, just like Ted Cruz just said, or his guest, they were essentially buying his vote.
But isn't that just smart business? Isn't that smart business? Like if you're a car dealer, right? And you're selling cars, and you're in an area that the socioeconomic state of that county, let's say, is a subprime credit score, right? You got people under 600 as the majority, right? You put these ads out on TV that say, we're going to get you approved no matter what. And they come in. Those people don't know that they're going to have to, because the disclaimer doesn't say, hey, with $4,000 down, we can get you financed, right?
Right.
But that's the same thing, because like you're planning for
it's
that
to get people in the door.
To get people in the door, right? But that's just smart business, because I want people to get in the door.
Listen, I'm not saying what that whole process. I mean, he went through the process that he was allowed, and he went as far as he was allowed to go, according to the courts, right? The courts made a determination on it. He worked out the process as far as he could go. He basically got people in the door. Yeah.
And I mean, again, I respect that. That's
I'm not knocking
business.
him for it. I mean, it's a process that was available
it's what Donald
to
Trump
him,
did.
and the court would have never ruled on it had he not done that, because there's no what they call standing, right? Mm-hmm. There's no standing for them to rule on it. It's not an issue, so why rule on an issue that doesn't exist? But now that he pushed it forward, now the courts have to rule on it.
Correct.
And they did, right? So it's a process. Can't knock him for the process, but it's kind of a shitty move, but
everyone makes shitty moves. Everyone makes shitty moves. Yeah. Trump made shitty moves. Obama made shitty moves. Bush made shitty move after shitty move after shitty move. I think Bush was just incompetent. You know what I mean? He couldn't even cover up that he did 9/11 too well. You know what I mean?
So real quick, Marcus says, the only thing I really liked about mail-in ballots is that you can get it, look at the candidates, whip out your phone if needed, and do some research on every issue you're making a decision about. I agree with you, brother. That is great. But you can also whip out your phone and look up the issues before you make it to the ballot box, and do some research before then, which you should. I don't think you should go and make decisions, vote on decisions that you're not familiar with. I mean, it's almost better to leave it blank at that point if you don't know what you're voting on.
What Marcus said, most just don't go forward with it. He said he'd get rid of student loan debt for people, and he did what he said. Isn't that what people wanted? I agree, but when Biden first came out and did this, he said he was going to get rid of all student loan debt for everyone. Then he limited it to certain types of people. Then he limited it even more. And it's like, okay, like I understand that, you want to forgive student loan debt for teachers, right? Because let's face it, teachers have a very hard job. They don't get paid very well. They have to pay for their own supplies. They have to, you go in at 7 a.m, you get done at 5, but you're grading papers till 8 p.m.
Right.
And this is speaking from experience. You're not with your family. I respect forgiving the student loans for teachers because even though we're getting taxed on it, teachers are the lifeblood of this country. They're the people who are teaching the youth. They're the people that are preparing them for higher education, right? Should my loans get forgiven? No. Would I like them to? Fuck yeah. But that's what Biden said. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get rid of your loans. Yeah. Not you, Tom Roth. But
I think that's getting people in the door. And then you said he limited it. That's because there's processes and there's 3 branches of government for a reason to put limits or put limits on power of the other branches.
Correct.
So for him to come out and say that, it's wishful thinking, but there's processes in place and he doesn't have the ultimate power to make that decision, especially when the power of the purse lies with who? Congress. Yeah.
Now, wouldn't it make more sense for him to have come out and said, I'm going to do it for these types of professions, but I'm not going to be able to eliminate your student loan debt. But what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to take away.
People don't want to hear that.
I would have wanted to hear this. I'm going to take away the predatory interest rates that are on those loans, and I'm going to make it, instead of it being 10% for you, I'm going to make it 3%.
I think that would be a better fight.
I would have no problem with that.
And I think that would actually be the solution to fix student loan debt anyways, the interest rates.
It's the interest rates. The interest rates are what the problem is, dude.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've made peace with I'm going to have to pay those student loans back, but honestly, I'm probably never going to pay them back. I mean, $89,000 at a 10% interest rate is an insurmountable amount of debt. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, you're never paying the principal. You're paying the interest the entire time.
And thank God. Thankful I didn't go to school for that.
And the crazy thing is, though, is when you're 18 and you're reading that, you're also seeing from the college, like, oh, we have a 99.8% placement rate. In no world am I the 0.2% when I did really well in college and got placed at a job, but then at the same time, like, it wasn't the actual job. I just got it in the field of education, right?
Right.
So you promised me something, and I signed that paper because you told me that you deliver on your promise, and now our loan rates have gone up, and it's not really being fixed. It's like, oh, well, figure it out, because now there are people that are in their 20s that have to choose between paying student loans or eating dinner. And in what world is that fair? You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that way. Yes, you signed the papers to pay a loan. Mm-hmm. And I respect that and I understand that. But how have we devolved so much as a country that, and this isn't my situation, but I'm just saying as if it were, in what world should I have to choose between getting myself a treat at the grocery store after working hard all week, like a couple bags of chips, like a 12-pack of Coca-Cola, or paying that student loan bill? Like, that's just not, I just don't think that that's fair.
Well, I think there's an easy decision if you had to choose between the two. But
one's gonna fulfill me a little bit. The other's gonna prevent my credit tanking. And in this world, credit's everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I think I wish people were more knowledgeable before they decide to go to college.
And that's the unfortunate part, because in high school, they don't teach you anything about that. They teach you about the circumference of a circle and solving for X and all that, which objectively, that's good to know. But they should probably teach you a little bit more about interest rates and
I agree.
Predatory lending. And, hey, I know you want to go to Westminster, but why don't you do your Common Core classes at Lakeland? And then if you decide this is for you, then transfer out there. So not only is your bill less, but you got all the arbitrary shit out of the way and you can focus on what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
You know, they never teach you shit like that. And when you're 18, I'm sorry, you don't know to ask those questions. And especially when we were younger, 2006, 2007.
Is it fair to say that
we didn't have access to that type of information like kids do now with TikTok? And
I mean, you have all the information right at your fingertips.
We had information at the fingertips, but it was on desktop computers. It wasn't mobile like it is now, where if I'm in bed at night wondering about it, I can go and check real quick.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't like that.
I agree.
We got off topic. So we talked about the Democrats and we talked about all that. We got 2 more topics that we want to cover tonight with me. I'm on a bit of a time crunch, but Anthony can go all night. I know this man has a lot he wants to say. So
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say, but
let's talk about our girl, man.
Who's that? Oh,
our girl,
Cheadle?
Miss Cheadle, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle resigned. Why'd she resign, Anthony?
Because she fucked up.
How'd she fuck up, Anthony?
A lot of different ways. For one, she's a liar. For two, it's just complete negligence and incompetence on, or maybe it was intentional. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I mean, she fucked up by, for one, lying to the people. For two, almost allowing the former president of the United States to be shot in the head. I mean, we're talking inches away from him being killed. I think when a situation like that happens and you are the top person in charge and you can't answer simple questions about the situation 9 days after the fact, I think you should go.
That's a really good point, because you had 9 days to address this. Even if you were complicit or this, that, or the other thing, you had 9 days to be fucking coached. 9 days. You know what I'm saying? 9 days a lot can be taught, a lot can be spun. You know what I mean? And it's just gross negligence on the part of not only former Director Cheadle, but the advisory group around her, higher ups to her, because there are higher ups to her.
Right.
And even people who are below her. You know what I mean? Like, there's not one job in this world where someone at the top can't take advice from someone below them. There's not one job in this world, dude. I mean, you're a business owner.
Yep.
You had employees that worked for you at one point. And I'm sure if they came to you with a suggestion or a way to make something better, you would have at least taken it into account.
Always. Because I don't want to talk about me, but yeah, I'm the type of person where I'm going to listen to a perspective and I'm going to make a decision.
You have to listen to perspective.
Yeah. But I mean, I think with her, I don't know. Should we watch this? I don't
watch it.
What is this video that you sent for us to play?
It's a roast.
It's a roast. So she's being roasted. So this looks like she's on, she's being questioned in front of Congress.
She looks like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Service Director Cheadle testifies on former Trump assassination attempt. So let's see what it said here.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Fallon from Texas.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice pick the absolute best location to assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it? Director Cheadle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence that you could stop trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know the questions, but the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Okay. So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full complement of security based on the threat assessment that we had.
That's not my question.
And the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting president, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the
So
sitting
he didn't.
president
So your answer is he didn't.
and continuity of government and the responsibility
So he
that we
did
have.
not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team, a full CAT team on site. There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling as it is chilling. We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds. Have you visited the site?
No, I have not.
9 days and you have not visited the site.
Bro, that's what I was about to say. 9 days? You've been there. It's been 9 days and you haven't even been there to assess anything. Bro, that is.
Screams suspicious.
You know what this reminds me of?
Suspicious.
This reminds me of when Kamala Harris was designated border czar. She's never been to the border.
Not once.
All right. All right.
You should have been there that night. Did you talk to, that evening, did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational work.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with.
You called them the very next day, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after. You waited 3 days. What is immediately clear is that there are a number of
Wait a
structures
minute.
that
She waited 3 days for what?
To speak with
The people there?
yes.
Let me rewind.
Rewind it.
under oath.
Immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours
Hold
after. You
on.
waited 3 days, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the time.
No. Did you call them the next day?
President.
Keep
Yes,
going
I
back.
spoke with.
You called them the very. Did you call them that night?
They were still.
Did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded
There.
the president? Did you call them that night?
Wait
They
a
were
minute.
still operational work.
So that's an answer is
protection
no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with.
You called them the very next day, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after you waited.
Bro, 72 hours after the assassination attempt. And that's when she decides to talk to the team that was there?
Strange.
How do you hold anybody,
Can I ask you a question?
please?
Do you think that people are more up in arms about this because it was Donald Trump?
What do you mean? No.
Like, would you feel as strongly as you do in 2 years if Joe Biden were somewhere making a speech and someone shot at him?
Absolutely.
Can you say that with confidence?
Absolutely.
If Barack Obama were speaking somewhere and someone shot at him, would you be as upset as you were as Donald Trump?
Yes.
You would.
Absolutely.
Do you think these people would?
Would be as upset?
And be asking these questions with this amount of conviction?
Yes. I don't know if you noticed, actually, after this happened, a lot of Democrats were calling for her resignation.
They were.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I'm getting at when I ask that is I'm seeing a lot of outrage and a lot of people up in arms because Donald Trump was the target of an assassination attempt. But a lot of these same people, and I don't have their handles or anything, but just reading through X, right?
Right.
A lot of those same people were posting the crying, laughing face emoji when it was saying like Joe Biden might be dead. You know what I'm saying? So it bothers me a little bit because you're making fun of Joe Biden potentially being dead, but you're calling for the heads of everyone who tried to assassinate Trump. Why is it that way? At the end of the day, they're people.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see anybody.
And again, I can't pull up something right now on demand and show it to you. But it's just me scrolling through X. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody celebrating or,
Well, X is a wild place.
Yeah,
so,
that's why I say
Wild
I
West.
didn't see it. I didn't see anything.
Sure.
I didn't see
And
anybody.
That's fair.
That's
fair. I'm trying to spark a discussion because this guy is truly upset. And as he has every right to be, and as he should be, from the gross negligence and incompetence of former U.S. Secretary of Service Director Cheadle, because what she did and what she was a part of is abhorrent.
Yeah.
But I think that everyone needs to remember to keep the same energy when it's someone from a different party.
I
when
agree.
It's not a Republican.
I agree. I think people should be very what's the word I'm looking for? Equal in their outrage, regardless of party.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was terrible. I think this was negligence. I almost think it was borderline intentional.
It was intentional.
And I think if it were Joe Biden up there or Barack Obama, I would feel the same way, because I think they had a job to do, and they neglected to do their job.
They did. They absolutely neglected to do their job. And it's sad because we can't pick and choose who to protect. When you're the director of the Secret Service, you have an oath to protect anyone in the political spectrum that's doing anything, representing our country.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just extend to Joe Biden. It extends to Donald Trump. I think even it extends to Barack Obama in some regards, doesn't it? Like, doesn't Obama have some protection still?
Oh, once you leave office of the president, you maintain Secret Service protection for the rest of your life.
Exactly. So, like, you can't pick and choose who you defend. Your oath is to defend whom you are told to defend.
Yeah, you have a job to do. You sign up for a job.
That is your job.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you fall on. It doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree. This is your job, and if you don't like it, get a different fucking job.
Yeah, I agree.
There's millions of jobs out there.
I agree, 100%.
And if you were in the Secret Service, it will not be hard to get another job.
I agree, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just disgusting. I think we saw what we needed to see about Director Cheadle. The video basically goes on with questions like that.
Yeah, I think I did see this video also. He gets him or another member. They talk about the sloped roof and how the sloped roof. She mentioned in an interview, I think it was with NBC, prior to this questioning, and she mentions that she didn't have Secret Service agents on that roof in particular because the roof was sloped. But I think him or another member talks about how the roof was basically flat, like it would meet standards for a handicap ramp. So,
what
the slope of the roof would meet standards for a handicap ramp. So somebody in a wheelchair would be the slope of that roof would be approved for a wheelchair.
For Wyatt to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild, right?
Yeah. So that is a bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
And but she gets called out for stuff like that basically throughout the entire video. And she gets dragged by basically everybody that she gets questioned by. And the very next day she resigns as Secret Service director. And now I guess Joe Biden will have to, I don't know if Joe Biden appoints the Secret Service director or if Alejandra Mayorkas, which is
I don't think it's Joe Biden.
I think Mayorkas appoints or assigns a director for Secret Service. I would have to look into that.
That's something we can look into.
Let's look at that. Who appoints Secret Service director? The director is appointed and serves at the pleasure of the President of the United States
shit.
and is not subject to Senate confirmation.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Oh, wow. What was her salary?
Secret Service.
Right down there. What is
it?
Kim Cheadle's salary?
Oh, $280,000.
Jesus Christ.
Has a net worth of $10 million, and as of 2024, she earns $280,000 annually from the federal government. Wow. She just lost a lot of money.
She did.
But she's worth $10 million. So
she's fine. She's fine. She's going to be all right.
She'll be all right.
Now, to end our night, you made waves on Facebook today.
I did.
You
Brian.
made waves, dog. Like you were
carrying someone away. Honestly, and it was I don't even think it needed to be as big as it was. So I made. Let me see if I can find my post. We'll just put my post up. So actually, here, let's do this. Let's see if we can find a quick video, quick breakdown of. So this is.
He does make things so much easier.
Okay, so they're over, I think, let's see, it happened on July 6th, 2024. So on July 6th, 2024, the cops were called to the house of a woman named Sonya Massey. She had called the police because she allegedly had saw somebody creeping around her yard.
Yep.
Well, when the police arrive, apparently they scoured the block and her yard looking for this alleged person. They didn't find anybody. They go knock on the door, make sure she's okay. She takes a while to answer the door. She comes out. She says she was changing, putting on some clothes, whatever the situation is. But just from the jump, she seems very strange. Like, things just seem strange. Like, she doesn't seem like she's all there mentally. She doesn't seem well mentally. And the officers even ask her this. Well, anyways, fast forward a little bit. They're inside her house trying to get her name and her identification, and then the officer, for one, he's an asshole from the jump, right? This guy is a complete asshole. He's basically
people like that shouldn't have a badge.
Telling her to hurry up to answer the door, basically just very condescending, rude, arrogant. He's just an asshole straight up. Like, he really shouldn't have a badge. He really should not be an officer. He, in my opinion, was a liability. Just watching him even before the end of the incident. Anyways, this officer notices that the stove is on and there's something on the stove, and he tells her to shut it off. And she walks over to grab it, and apparently it's a pot of boiling water, and she takes it and she puts it over on the counter next to the sink. And then one of the other officers backs up, and she says, "What's wrong?" And he says, "I'm just backing up away from your steaming hot water." She says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." The one officer says, "You better not. I'll shoot you in the fucking face." And he draws a gun on her. She drops. And then this is where I say that, and of course, I'm not justifying this guy's shot at all. Like, he should have just backed up to begin with. If he was that nervous about the water, I don't know why he would pull a gun out, because at that moment she was not a threat. I guess she could have been if she would have threw the water at them right then and there, but she was on the other side of the counter. It's not like she was, if he backed up maybe 2 steps, I don't think there would have been any cause for concern. He would have essentially been right by the door. But anyways, let's watch this one, a minute and 40-second video, and you'll see the whole breakdown. And then I will tell you what I said on my post.
He does make things so much easier. I just need to get, just driver's license will do, and I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
I got your paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
one task at a time here.
Okay.
Here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID, one task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
you have a stack right there, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
Okay, so she...
Yo,
so
how did she get over there that quick?
Okay, so she's the one who initiated to go turn off the stove. Okay.
Yeah.
She initiated it. She's the one who said, "Let me go get this," and she walks over there. So I was wrong in that part. The cop didn't tell her to go turn it off. But anyways, let's watch. So here she grabs the pot, and let's see what she does with it from here. Okay. She has oven mitts. Mm-hmm. She grabbed the pot with oven mitts. Okay.
Okay.
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot. Drop it.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Where does she throw the fucking pot, dude?
Say that again.
Where does she throw the pot?
Where does she throw the pot? Okay,
yes.
So let's keep watching. I honestly don't think she threw the pot, but I do think she threw water at them, and I'll show you here in a second.
Breathe Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078.
Okay, so he calls for EMS, but later on he doesn't even like render aid or anything, which is shitty. Like he's just a shitty human being in my opinion.
No, dude, this is bullshit. They shot her for no reason.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Okay, and I'm not justifying the shoot, but from what I see, she does throw water. Let me see. It's literally making me throwing the people accusing a woman throwing water. She never threw. Okay, so this is probably a shitty. All right, and this is, yeah, that's a shitty video because this doesn't show the whole thing. So this is.
She grabs the silver pot with red and white cooking mittens.
Okay.
This doesn't show the whole clip. This is what people keep sending me.
The pot. Her hands are in the
her
air.
hands go up. You can see the pot on the counter right there. You saw that?
Yeah, I saw the pot on the counter.
Okay, now.
She grabs the silver pot with red and white.
Let's go down. She never charged him with the water. So this is the same video basically. Let's see. Let me go to my Facebook page and we'll just pull it up from there. Okay. Well, first of all, my post just said that I wasn't justifying this shooting, although I said, but however, she did throw boiling water at him because I don't think a lot of people had saw that she threw boiling water, which was my big point. And I didn't want this to be George Floyd 2.0, which is what somebody made a comment about. And also, I want people to make sure they have all the facts before they make an opinion about something. So, so look, this is, I didn't even share this video. This is somebody else shared this on here. So let's see if I can click it and see if it'll play. Okay, I want to make this bigger though. Okay, let's see if we can zoom in here. Okay, so let's watch. She pops up right underneath his arm right here. You can see her face. You can see the pot right there. And then watch right at the corner. See that steam and that water hit the corner of that counter right at the edge of the tile there. Let's rewind that. And I really wish I could make this bigger. Okay, so let's watch. See the steam hit the floor?
No. No, I don't.
You don't? Hold on. No. Let me find a different video real quick. The one that I posted. I think I can see the whole thing. Oh, here we go. We're going to get a full screen here. All right. So I'm going to scrub through this, which I did with Marcus too. So Marcus, if you're still watching, watch, brother, watch. Okay. So look under his left arm. You can see her face. See her face? You see her face?
I see her face.
Okay. Now, when you see after his arm moves, you're going to see the pot. You see her face, clear as day, correct?
Correct.
Now you see the pot coming at him?
No, I don't see the pot. I see
look above her head.
Gloves, dude.
Look above her head.
Okay. I see red gloves.
Okay. You see red gloves? Now
I see the pot.
Now you see the pot. And you see the handle of the pot coming at. Look. Coming. Okay, so Marcus said that she was maybe protecting her face.
It looks that way to me.
No, bro.
Bro, if you're going to throw a pot of water, you're coming from the side to maximum impact. You're not going like this because it's just going to go down.
You're going to take opportunity, right? You're going to take opportunity. And look.
I don't agree.
You think she's grabbing a pot of boiling hot water to cover her face? Come on, man. That shit don't make no sense. Why would she grab it? Why? Bro.
She's under duress, homie.
Okay, and then why, if she wasn't throwing hot water, why did the water hit? Here, let's fast forward. Look right at where the chair is on the corner of the counter. You're gonna see the steam.
I see it now.
And the splash.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's play this. Let's just let it play out. Boom. You see all that?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, she threw the water. You can see her pop up. There's a pot. Come at him. And then you see the water splash right on the floor.
Though, bro, like I don't think that was meant to go to him. I don't. Like, and there's really nothing that someone can say to convince me otherwise.
And maybe not, but you know what, bro? And maybe she was, but you know what? He has a legal defense with this because he can say, I feared that she was going to cause me great bodily harm by dumping hot boiling water on me. And guess what? That is a legal justification. Everything else leading up to this point should have never happened, honestly, because everything leading up led to this. But in this split second, he has a legal defense that she was going to cause him great bodily harm. I'll just let it play on repeat. I mean, you can see clear as day. You can see her face. You can see the pot. You can see the opening of the pot toward him, right?
Correct.
And it honestly doesn't. I bet you. Hold on, Sarah. There is another video of the other officer rendering aid. Let me see. I know where I can find that. Let's see where that pot was. I haven't looked this up. I know Long Island Audit has it on his page. He has the full version with the guy rendering aid. So let's real fast. Okay, so here it is. I understand. Okay, so let's just fast forward to the part where this guy's rendering. It's not going to show because so that's when he leaves to go.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can see where the pot actually is. Pause. He's getting up, so let's slow it down. Playback speed 0.25. The pot's not on the counter. Can we see the pot on the floor? So I don't see. I see the chair. What is that there? Let's go back. No pot. No pot. I'm looking on the floor. See if we can see it. I see the water on the floor. It looks like the pot. Is that the pot behind the chair?
No.
I'm not seeing it.
They definitely moved it.
Maybe. I mean, this was probably 10 minutes after she got shot. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility EMS came in and kicked it to move it. But I don't know.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is someone lost their life. And it was at the hands of police officers. Again. I mean, as soon as she grabbed it, the cop busted her and the pot flew out of her hand.
Marcus.
Go back to the video. I got time for one more view of that video.
Which part?
Where he's about to pop her. Like 2 minutes before he shoots her.
Okay.
Or 2 seconds before he pops her.
This video?
Yes.
Okay.
Hit it.
Should I slow it down?
Yes.
Let's go playback speed. 0.25.
Do it. Okay. Okay.
Boom. There's her face.
There's her face. Okay.
Boom. There's a pot coming up over her shoulder toward him.
But we're not hearing audio here, dude. How do we know? How do I know he didn't shoot her just then?
You don't. I guess you'd have to match this up with the other body camera footage.
Exactly.
Because he actually didn't even push his body cam until after he shot her. So that's why you get these like 30 seconds with no audio. But so you'd have to really sync up the time with the other officer. But let's see. Let's go back.
Why wasn't his body cam on?
That's a good question too.
That's another thing that leads me to believe that something was amiss. They're required to have their body cams on, dude.
I believe so, yeah.
That's a requirement.
But bro, look at that. She took this pot over her shoulder like this and went like that.
It's more like this.
Either way, it's right at his direction. He's got a legal defense. Unfortunately, I wish he would fucking fry, but he does have a legal defense. Look. She goes over her shoulder, right toward him with the pot. Look, her left hand left the pot. Her left hand left the pot.
If it's leaving the pot, you're taking away power.
So I said that she didn't throw the pot. It looks like she may have thrown the pot. I knew she threw water because it was obvious. You could see it hit. But looking at this, watch her left hand leave the pot.
If you're going to throw it, though...
Look, her left hand is down by her face. Her left hand was not on the pot. You can see the handle of the pot right there. She flung that pot at him. If I was him, that's what I would say. She flung that pot at me. And the video could prove that.
I don't know. I don't necessarily... agree. If you're gonna fling a pot, I would want to use both hands to throw it at someone. I wouldn't want.
Bro, you're thinking practically. You're thinking practically. If you had the fucking time to think about it, right?
Yeah.
She legit cowered because she had a gun at her, ducked, and then she grabbed the pot and threw it over her fucking shoulder.
She didn't throw it over her shoulder. She flung it over her shoulder.
Flung, throw, whatever.
There's a distinction. There is. When you throw something, you're inflicting harm. You're trying to inflict harm on someone. Flinging, you're probably trying to like go like that, like maybe like I'm not being funny.
No,
I'm being
bro,
serious.
You're not though. I can't take you serious, Tom. I can't take you serious because for one, when you throw something, doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to inflict harm. You can fling something and still inflict harm on somebody. Throwing, flinging, it's a synonym.
I think there's under duress. I mean, this is a tough situation. Unfortunately, someone's dead, and unfortunately, a hot-headed police officer is going to be able to justify what he did.
Well, he does not. I don't think he's not gonna get out of jail because I think there was plenty that he can be charged with. Even outside of the shooting, like for one, he shouldn't have drawn his weapon because, yeah, there was no threat to life at that point, right? And he could have taken 2 steps back. He was just an arrogant asshole the whole time. He definitely did not de-escalate the situation. He was just kudos to his partner. Honestly, I wish his partner would have stepped up, but kudos to his partner for attempting to render aid. Also, you notice he didn't even draw his gun basically until right the moment that the other officer was shooting. Like he yelled to put down the pot, but he didn't draw the weapon until basically the other officer was pulling his trigger. So maybe he didn't feel as threatened, but he was also further back. But I don't know. This is going to be an interesting situation because I think it brings up a lot of different things. I think it brings up the conversation as far as the use of force continuum, like when is it okay to draw a weapon? Also, I think it raises a good question as far as how should people who are not well mentally be dealt with, right? Should a police officer be arriving there, or should the police officers have better training with mentally?
They should have better training, and they should have people with them that can help de-escalate situations. Like, you ever see that Samuel L. Jackson movie, The Negotiator?
Yeah.
Like, he's there to talk those people down.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what is needed in situations like this. Like this lady was, in my opinion, obviously unwell mentally. She needed, I mean, she probably didn't need anything. Maybe she just needed to be reassured that there was nobody outside of her house. But I really don't think it should have gone further than that. I think the cops were fishing for some shit because they were asking about a car that she said wasn't hers, but apparently it was hers. And I think that's even more.
But see, that's not even like, I don't even take that into account. Like, I have 2 cars. I have a Chevy Traverse that Megan drives. That's not my car.
Yeah, no. But she said she doesn't even know whose car it was. But apparently it was hers. She just mentally she
wasn't doing so hot.
Yeah,
and that's okay. I mean, sometimes people aren't doing well mentally. You just got to be there for them.
Yeah, but this guy was not.
He was not.
He was like I said. He was rude. The
primary duty of a police officer is to uphold the law and to serve and to protect.
Yeah.
He wasn't serving anyone outside of his own agenda, and he wasn't protecting anyone.
No, he definitely wasn't.
No, and that's the crime that we're seeing with a lot of police officers. The only thing they're serving is their self-interests or the interests of those around them that can help further them either politically, financially, job-wise, that's the only people that they're serving. It's gotten away from serving the American populace. And I don't feel comfortable around police officers, and there's no reason I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, but if there's one around, I'm sketched out. And it shouldn't be that way. I've done nothing wrong. I know in my heart of hearts, I've done nothing wrong. But if there's one around, oh shit.
That's because that you can indict a ham sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. I guess if they want to fuck with you, they will, huh?
Yeah. But I know you probably want to say more, but I got to get home.
No, I mean, I think I've said what I needed to say. Yeah, I don't know. If, agree to disagree with those who watch this. I guess you too, if you disagree that she was throwing that water at him. But
that's the nice thing about you and me. We can disagree and not call each other names afterward.
Yeah, no, unnecessary.
Unnecessary. I agree with Marcus. Hold the bad ones accountable because there are good police officers. For sure. There are good police officers.
Yeah,
I have a police officer who lives down the road from me. He's a great guy.
And he should be held accountable.
And I think he will be.
I think he will be too. And thankfully, because that situation didn't have to happen like that. It could have ended a long time, minutes before. But yeah, Tom, well, I will let you get out of here. Everybody say goodbye to Tom and his mustache.
Bye.
For the night, and we'll be back. And yeah, Tom, do you have anything to say before we close out?
I have nothing more to say except I appreciate all of you that have tuned in. I appreciate Marcus, my old college roommate, one of my boys, for tuning in and interacting with us tonight on this episode of The Cut. Go ahead, share, and comment on this video and every other video, and go ahead and subscribe to this channel so we can get more content to you. Have a great night, guys. It's going to be a huge evening. It's going to be a tremendous evening.